All right. Well, hope everyone is having a pretty good day today. Thank you for hanging out with me for just a little bit while I read some off the wall stuff, usually. But today I found this blog post by Ben Kun at benkun.net. It's titled "You Don't Need to Work on Hard Problems." And I started reading this, and as usual, wanted to save it for later in the day. So haven't read much of it, but I'm actually gonna skip this first part. I sincerely apologize, Ben, if you ever see this. But I have to do it out of time's sake. So the first part is just kind of summarizing his history, through the years going to college from 2012 to 2016. But this is sort of where he starts making his point. Let's get into it. For some reason, a lot of smart college students end up with the idea that solving hard technical problems is the best thing they can do with their life. It's a common refrain in Hacker News comments, job ads, and interview questions. Why does this happen? Probably because that's the only thing they've ever been rewarded for over the past 15 years. School is a closed world domain. You are solving crisply defined puzzles. Multiply these two numbers, implement this algorithm, write a book report by this rubric. Your solution is evaluated on one dimension, a letter grade, and the performance ceiling, an A+, is pretty low. The only form of progression is to take harder courses. If you try to maximize your rewards under this reward function, you'll end up looking for trickier and trickier puzzles that you can get an A+ on. Yep, I hear that. The real world is the polar opposite. You'll have some ultra vague end goal, like help people in the sub-Saharan Africa solve their money problems. Previously, he went over that was something he did, I think in 2016, 2015. So he's doing a callback to that. Based on which you'll need to prioritize many different sub-problems. It's very true. A solution's performance has many different dimensions: speed, reliability, usability, repeatability, cost. You probably don't even know what all the dimensions are, let alone what are the most important. The range of plausible outcomes covers orders of magnitudes, and the ceiling is saving billions of lives. The habits you learn by working on problem sets will not help you there. So because of these differences, most graduates of elite schools, including me, start out being completely unable to identify which work is actually important. And if some important work does happen to hit us over the head, it won't come in the form of a puzzle with a grading rubric, so we won't know how to execute it well. Instead, we'll keep trying to run our college playbook and look for hard problems. Yeah. Um, in a previous video, I mentioned that one of the most important things when you start working for a new company or in a new position is to start building a mental map or model of the entire organization, each function for each job. And this really allows you to frame what meaning your actual work has in the context of the bigger organization. Because it's not always that you solve this very specific thing, it matters to the bottom line of the company. You might be given that task by management, but you're not privy to the exact effects that one task has. So they might tell you, solve this problem. And you're like, I'm going to solve this problem so specifically. But really, they were like, we only needed it partially solved for the fix that we were trying to address. When you tried to finish the entire set of things, you crossed your T's, dotted your I's, and really, they only cared about half of the T. Because that was their bottom line. Meanwhile, you don't even know someone else was working on the I, and that was the more important part of it. They just needed half of the T, just an example. Frequently, we'll find them making easy problems hard, with hilarious and depressing results. The upper ranks of big tech are filled with people who made their careers writing bizarre custom databases or building big data infrastructure that could be replaced by a laptop. When I first graduated, I was afraid that if I worked with boring technology, I'd get bored. Instead, I learned it was possible and fun to optimize on other dimensions, yep, or play with a different game. Rather than competing for an A plus on a hard problem, I could try to solve an easy problem as quickly as possible, like waves accounting. Again, a callback to the first part that I skipped. Or find the easiest problem whose solution would be useful, like identifying Kenyan names. Or hire a team to solve easy problems faster than I ever could myself. In fact, these turned out to be even more interesting. Why? Because hard technical problems wasn't my root goal. My root goal was to use my skills to get the most possible leverage on improving the world. In school, if you pick an easy problem instead of a hard one, you lose leverage because your extra problem solving ability goes to waste. But in real life, you can redirect it to prioritizing which problems to solve or working more quickly or building a machine that solves the problems for you. Because of that, I'm confident that my ability to solve hard problems has translated into having way more impact on the lives of people in sub-Saharan Africa, even though there's a sense in which all I'm doing is helping build a CRUD app. I won't claim that the returns to intelligence are literally equal everywhere, but given a hairy enough goal, they're a lot more evenly distributed than you think. So don't look for hard problems. Important ones are ultimately more fun. Thanks to Eve Bagaj, Alexei Guzov, Jeff Kaufman, Don Liu, Lincoln Quirk, and Yuri Vishnevsky for reading a draft of this post. That was a really good article, conveyed very well. For people without a tech background, I'm sure they could still relate to this, even though that was kind of a central theme. But absolutely spot on the money. And to that point as well, oftentimes it doesn't even matter how good you are at your job, period, in management's eyes. Office Space, great movie, love it. I reference it all the time. So many scenes to talk about in there, but specifically there's one where the main character is talking to these consultants who are trying to clean out the office of people who don't really do their work, and they're trying to optimize the place. He goes in on an interview, and they're gauging each employee, and he's like, yeah, on a given work week, I work probably 10, 15 minutes. I come in every day, space out for the first hour, contemplating myself. And later on, when they're interviewing his manager, he's like, yeah, we need to cut that guy. And then the two consultants that previously spoke to him were like, really? He's top level management quality. He should be promoted. And, that's kind of an extreme example, but that's kind of true to an extent. The most valuable person in a company is not always the most technically proficient. It's, there's a myriad of factors which go into gauging how someone is worth within a company. And a lot of that is how you're able to mediate between different people. If you can't do the work that well, but you've shown that you're a valuable asset that can make things happen between others, and you're good at identifying, efficiencies and whatnot, there's a place for you in a company, I'm sure, if the right people are paying attention. But yeah, great article. So sorry for skipping that first part. Time is it? You know what? I'll go through it real quick, actually. College 2012 internship recruiting season. Quote, what are you looking for in your internship? The recruiter asks. I'd like to solve hard technical problems, I reply. I end up at Jane Street writing software to calculate numeric integrals of a function that is costly to evaluate. They don't tell me what the function is. It's too secret for the interns. Yeah, of course. After 2 weeks, I come up with some of my own tweaks that make the algorithm work a bit better. I happily add, build a state-of-the-art library for numerical integration with novel improvements on the best techniques in academic literature to my resume. Back to campus, time to declare a major. I'm falling asleep in all my lectures, except the math ones, which use enough jargon that I am confused instead of bored. Guess it's math then, after declaring. After declaring, I finally get assigned an advisor who doesn't tell me to take easier courses. Real World 2014. So this is after college. Math classes haven't saved me from getting bored of college. I decided to take senior year off to work for a sexy machine learning startup. Yep. I spend months reading papers and optimizing our models. Our company doesn't grow because we can't close sales. We have 3 engineers and no salesperson. Yeah, engineers are not good at selling. Real World 2015. My classmates have graduated and gone to math grad school or Google or Facebook. I've switched from earning to give to directly trying to improve the world at Wave. Wave is saving immigrants a lot of money. Unfortunately, we're also saving a lot of money for fraudsters who are using us to charge other people's debit cards. I spent 3 hours building a trigram logistic regression, no idea what that is, that differentiates Kenyan names, real users, from non-Kenyan names, likely fraudsters, which puts a lid on our fraud for the next year. Real World 2016. Wave's new second biggest problem is that we have outgrown QuickBooks. Our biggest problem is that the accountant, engineer, we hired to fix, this is not good at either. Read that, wrong, but you know what I mean. I'm left holding the bag, closing our 2015 books with a god-awful combination of raw post-GRS queries and janky half-baked Twitter bootstrap UIs. I spend 20 hours a week on the phone with our auditors, explaining our terrible decisions. Somehow, improbably, I am not bored. And that's where we get into the rest of the article. Yeah, a lot of the issues there did not deal with what he was actually trying to do in college. So, yeah, anyways, hope that was enlightening for some of you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Weekend's coming up almost. We're at Wednesday, so don't know why I said that. I hate when people call out the day of the week because it reminds me that it matters when you should be enjoying every day of the week. But I hope you are. I am myself. So, yeah.